Welcome to day 26, and we're talking medication. There are millions of people who take heart-related medications, and the really good thing is we do have plenty of medications in the cardiovascular realm to help us with all sorts of aspects of cardiovascular care. So let's talk blood pressure tablets first of all. We've got beta blockers. They dampen down the sympathetic nervous system, slow the heart, reduce the blood pressure. We've got these wonderful agents called angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors and angiotensin receptor blockers working through that angiotensin system to help blood vessels relax. The same agents are really good for cardiac failure. So are beta blockers as it happens. Calcium channel blockers can be of different types, those that really slow the heart as well as open the arteries, but also those that are more likely to work peripherally by opening the arteries and having less effect on heart rate. We can use diuretics as well. We call them thiazide diuretics, and sometimes mineralocorticoid blocking diuretics like spironolactone, we can use those for blood pressure as well. Cholesterol lowering, well, of course you will have all heard of statins, but these days we're adding in other agents as well. Things like ezetimibe, which block cholesterol absorption from the gut. And we're also adding agents called PCSK9 inhibitors. And that's because PCSK9 is a protein that, if you can block it, improves the cycling of the cholesterol receptor on liver cells. If the receptor is working better, it sucks more cholesterol out of the bloodstream and helps with reduction of cholesterol, that LDL cholesterol, the stuff in the bad particles. We've also got drugs that prevent blood clots, importantly things like aspirin and aspirin-like drugs, which are used routinely if you've had a stent. We've also got blood thinners that thin the blood through a slightly different way called anticoagulants. Now, you may have heard of warfarin. Used to be referred to as a rat poison, and it was in its first iteration, but we've used exactly that, warfarin, but in very controlled doses to thin the blood. These are called anticoagulants rather than antiplatelet agents. Platelets are the little components that clump together in the blood and aid in clotting. Aspirin and aspirin-like agents work on those. Blood thinners work on the proteins that aid in coagulation in the bloodstream. There are new blood thinners that we use, or they've been available for the last 5 years or so. These are called non-vitamin K oral anticoagulants. And of course, we've got medications that reduce chest pain, things like sprays under the tongue, which we call the nitrates, that open up the arteries and ease anginal pain. That little spray under the tongue, really important that you don't mix that up with certain medications, and one of those medications you can't mix it with is Viagra, so just be aware of that. Without going into the detail of all of these heart-related medications, what I really want to stress is two things. One is, if you're on heart-related medications, please carry an up-to-date list with you at all times, so that if you see a doctor, whoever it might be, and they say, what medications are you on? You don't shrug your shoulders and go, oh, I don't know. How about you pull out a list and show that person exactly what you're on? Imagine how much better care you'd get in an accident and emergency if that was the case. The second thing, and this is super duper important, is if a cardiologist has put you on a medication for a particular purpose, and for some reason you think you're having a problem with that medication, please go and talk to the person who put you on that medication, understand exactly why you are on it, and what strategies you need to implement to assess if it is causing you a problem or not. If you were to stop, for example, a blood thinning tablet, aspirin and a blood thinner are given to people with a stent, and if you were to stop that combination in the first week or two after a stent, you run an extremely high risk of a clot forming within the stent, blocking the artery suddenly, and that might be the last that you ever remember. So please don't just stop your tablets. Go and talk to someone. Be really clear about what that medication's doing and what the next steps are. Well, that's it from me. I do hope you live as well as possible, for as long as possible, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Take care, and bye for now.